everybody, looks like we made it to yet another Wednesday. How are you guys doing? I am so glad to hang out with you. So this is Wednesday, April 21st. It's 9:30 Eastern Time. And today what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and work on finding a winner for this incredible print that I was able to do with my new technique of doing printing my own work. As you can see, it looks like it has a clear coat on it, and I'm very excited. So let's see who we have. We have Roy. How's it going? John Diekman, Hillbilly Abel. Good to see ya. Oh, nice. So that's good. Having your dinner delivered today. That's always fun. Willie's here. Good to see you. And so glad you guys are here. So we only had a few people email me, which is good because it really, hey John, how's it going? It really gives you a better chance to win this. I'm actually going to send it to you ASAP. I'll even take care of the shipping. So those who emailed me and were already subscribed was Chris Garcia, Wendy Stevens, Raul, Todd, David Lee, John Payne, and Juan Carlos. So those are the only ones, unfortunately, who actually went ahead and sent that email. I'll give you guys if anyone decides they want to go ahead and join it in the last moment, just email me right now at paintedglyphs@gmail.com. I'm going to give you, Wendy, how's it going? Good to see you. I will give you to 9:34. So you have 9:34 to go ahead and email me, paintedglyphs@gmail.com. At 9:34, I am actually going to go ahead and check my email. That's 9:34 Eastern Time. That is only 2 minutes. So definitely give that. So Wendy, you can only have one entry, but that's pretty good. So so definitely email me at right here, paintedglyphs@gmail.com. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, I see a lot of people who are beginning airbrushing, and when they start very dark. Like you'll see they go dark really fast. Like they'll go real dark in the eyes, and they'll start doing dark shadows. And we're talking like the first 2 hours. So just to go over what I do here and what I'm actually well known for is a very deliberate method of going slowly from light to dark. I work on the tinted paper, right? And that's usually a neutral gray. And then I start with my white mixture. And what this will do is bring all the features that are in the light forward, and the color of the paper will go backwards. Then I go into the light mixture. Now the light mixture is basically about 70 to 75% of your painting is going to be in this light mixture. This is extremely diluted. I would say maybe a number 6 or a number 7 on the grayscale. So that is something to really consider. If all my years of experience of painting since I was 15 years old, and I come to the conclusion of going light very, very deliberately, and then going mid-tone and dark, that is the way to go, especially if you're starting out. About 75% into the painting, I'll come in with the medium mixture. And with this medium mixture, it's sort of the same tone pretty much as the paper, like number 5. I would be there probably in the next 15 to 18%. And then at the very end comes the dark mixture, right? And then from the dark mixture, we'll come in with white pastel. So the moral of this beginning part of just talking to you about that is that it's so important to gradually work up your values, gradually work on the inner shapes, work on the edges, work on those things in the light mixture, because that is where you can gradually see those different changes, those value changes, those edge changes. If you go too dark, you won't see any of them because it will blow out the dynamic value range, and so simultaneous contrast and all of that. So very important to go light for a long time and then slowly go darker, and then at the end your dark accents, and then your highlights with your white pastel. Okay, so I gave you guys more time. I'm going to check my email, paintingglyphs@gmail.com. Did anyone, I guess no one really wants this picture. Okay, so no problem. All right, so here we are. So we have Chris Garcia. So let me go ahead and, so we have Chris G, right? And we have Wendy. And we have Raul. Let's see, we have Todd. And David Lee. T. Hey Patty, hey Patrick. How you guys doing? Nameless subscriber, good to see yous. Let's see, and then we have John Payne. And last but not least, Mr. Hey, what's up, Mr. Garcia? You're in the running? Okay, so we'll get my Atlanta Falcons hat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fold these up and put them in the hat. And we're going to find out who the lucky winner is to this fine art print, which is Aroused by Rothko. I did that in 2020, I believe. So let's see. Hey, Mr. Leahy, how's it going? How are you today, sir? So we are doing a little contest here to see who the lucky person is. If you're not only already a collector of my work, this will make you a collector of my work. Okay, so here we go. I'm not going to be looking. You see my eyeballs? Not looking. Okay, so this is the person. Let's see who won. Drum roll, please. Wow, look at that. Mr. Chris Garcia, you are the winner. So cool. So that is so great, Mr. Garcia. I'm so happy that you won this painting. Of course, it looks clear-coated, but it's not. It's a secret way that I've been printing my artwork, which I will not readily share. But as you can see, this is a wonderful reproduction. Very, very true to the color of the original painting. And I just love the blacks and the grays, so that is very exciting. We're going to put this aside for you, sir. So thank you so much for everyone who went ahead and entered that contest. So I appreciate yous. So very, very cool. Okay, so back to Miss Dua Lipa. And she is amazing. Everyone knows that, though, you know. So congrats, Chris. So cool to you. So let's see here now. So Now that we have this, let me pull up my picture of Dua Lipa so you guys can see. Where is she? Right there. Perfect. Okay, so now you guys can see what I'm working with. And okay, so we're probably about 75 to 80% done with this painting. And when we are this far, I always like to have a dual airbrush method. The first 75%, one airbrush. From 75% to 100, two airbrushes. Of course, these are both Extreme Patriot arrows, which are customized by myself, and they are available on my website. So this one right here is the Extreme Patriot arrow, and I have the light mixture in here. And this is the Extreme Patriot 105. Only difference is the larger cup, but it's nice to have both. So I always make sure if you have one, make sure you get the second one. They complement each other perfectly. Okay, so we are going to go in with the light mixture. Oh, that is so great. You have a Mr. Leahy print as well. That is fantastic. So good to see you there, Patty. I think I ran out of light mixture. I was painting for about 8 hours today. So I am warmed up. So as you can see, I ran out of light mixture, which is a good thing in my brush. Means I'm working. And if we're working, we're learning. Let's move Miss Lipa up just a bit there. There she goes. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we could just work on some of the finer point of her hair. So I'm going to zoom in. And let's see. And I'm going to get my Pure Ref. If you haven't gotten Pure Ref, it's pureref.org. Definitely check it out. It is the best program to actually go ahead and use and get reference while you work, and the reference will be on your computer. Okay, I am all set now, and now I am going to go ahead and work on her hairline. And of course I am in the light mixture right now. Todd, good to see you. How are you, sir? And since I'm here, I'll take my aggressive eraser as soon as I find it. Here we go. And get one of my airbrush gloves. Hey Brad, how's it going? Good to see you, sir. And I'm just going to go ahead and just do a couple of hairs here and there. Let's move that down just a bit. And move that over. And here's a good time as any to get rid of some overspray. Oh, the echo. I'll get rid of that. Okay, how's that, Patty? The echo should be gone. I think it was because I had, unfortunately, I kept the volume on my computer, so that pretty much did it. Okay, so the echo should be gone. Let me know if it is. Okay, great. So now I have the medium mixture back, and we're going to go back to her eyes. And let's see if I can go ahead and zoom in. And we're just going to reestablish the dark of her pupil. And remember, what we do on one eye, we have to do on the other. Go. Cool. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Thank you, Patty. Yeah, unfortunately, I left the volume on my PC. That's what did it. But thanks for alerting me. Okay, so let's move on over to her other eye. And we'll just reestablish. See, when we start moving over to the medium mixture, we just have to start darkening things up gradually with that medium mixture. So Steve, when do you leave for Florida? Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. So John's in New York today, New York State, right? I'm in New Jersey, on the other side of New York State, basically, much lower. And John got snow today, believe it or not. How amazing is that? And we'll just move on over here. And we're just going to reestablish some of the darks. Now what I'm going to do is look for my freehand shield, and here it is, and we'll just crawl along the surface perpendicular and not parallel. As you can see, this is an indication of her ear here. Okay, so you're leaving for the circus the 28th, so that's like almost a week from today, huh? And we're just going to do some of the creases in her eyelid there. So now what we can do is we can take this, actually I think we were making a chisel with this. So I am going to go ahead, and this is clean, so I'm going to put this here, and we're going to make a chisel and see if that works. I'm pretty certain it's going to work, but let's go ahead and make this happen. So you go down, whoop. Well, there you go. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys. Wow, still an inch and a half. That's crazy. An inch and a half of snow for Mr. Payne in upstate New York. So that's pretty wild. I think for a while we had tornado warnings, but I don't think they're still in effect. And let me zoom out here. Okay, we'll move this over. There we go, just like so. So I just want to get that chisel, and let's see if I can just so you see I have a very, very fine edge there, and I'm going to use that to get some of the those negative spaces inside her eyebrows. So let's see if we can make this happen. So I take it Mr. Steve doesn't like snow in April. Okay, so we're focused. Wow, look at that. So Brad too had an inch of snow on Monday. Wow, on Sunday. That's amazing. So as you can see, I can flick some little beautiful little hairs there, which is great. And then we can come back in with our light mixture. And you see we have a nice dark right here. Remember the 1 second rule. If you don't remember the 1 second rule, don't worry, I'll remind you. And then we come back in here. Lighten up that. And we have just a little bit of white, so I can take my sandpaper with the white pastel on it, and I could just lightly tap that right there. And then we can come back in with the there we go. And work on some of that detail. Patty says, stuff no one wants. That's funny. And okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can do anything. Well, there's a little bit of dark on the left side of the eye here. There we go. And let's move on over to the other eye. And let's see if, so we have the crease of one eyelid, one crease of the eyelid here, and then this crease, and then this comes over, one second rule definitely keeps us honest, you know. Look at that, Brad and looks like Brad and Hillbilly had a lot of snow. Holy cow. So Brad doesn't mind global warming, more beach weather, huh, sir? So here's a treat for you. Oh, thank you so much, Patty. I appreciate that. So I have to show you. So I think it is on Tubi TV. I'm gonna send you guys, girls, a link. Excuse me. Okay, so on Tubi TV, I don't know if I shown you this before, but there's an amazing documentary on Gustav Klimt, and let me go ahead and send you the link to that. So here you go. You get a chance to watch some quality entertainment about the 19th century Austrian painter Gustav Klimt, famous for the Kiss. I really, really recommend it. So definitely check that out with that link. When you go to Tubi, you don't have to register, but it helps to register. You can watch that on your computer, anything, which is really great. Gustav Klimt is one of my favorite painters. I wouldn't say he's my favorite. There are times I really love his work, and then sometimes not so much. But I have to say, all in all, his work is just unbelievably beautiful. So I'm in the light mixture, and I'm just darkening up this a little bit. I hope it doesn't scale this. And yes, I think, it definitely could mess with a lot of the seedlings and stuff, right, guys? Let me do some little hairs here. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out. And I think it's getting close, but before I do that, let's go work on her mouth. And we can see basically if we can put some detail in there with the light mixture before we come in with the medium mixture, as well as coming in with the white pastel. So always be cautious when you move from the light mixture to the medium mixture. Always be cautious. Make sure you did everything that you could do with the light mixture before you go over there, meaning texture, getting down the shapes, all of that really important aspects. Darken this nail a little bit. And then what we can do is just lighten this just a tad. There we go. It's not actually a tooth. Just the corner of her lip there. Over here we have a nice dark in her mouth. And this comes in a little bit here. Now the great thing, you have an aggressive eraser, but what I'm learning is it doesn't matter if you have an aggressive eraser. Andre, como va você, amigo mío? How are you, Raul? How you doing today? Good to see both of you. Then we have a little bit of a light here. So basically I'm just making sure while I was talking about you really can get away with one eraser, but it would be an aggressive eraser. My point is this, is that you can have just one eraser and it be an aggressive eraser, because what it is, you can change the pressure that you use that aggressive eraser. So that aggressive eraser could serve as your, you know, your mono, your pink pearl. So, you know, I'm finding that I'm using a lot less erasers now because I'm learning how to really alternate and vary the pressure for whatever I need. So that's actually interesting. Just going to put some texture in her lips here. Now when you're doing this, it's the direction of these wrinkles that are important, more important than even the shape. And the fact that for wrinkles to really work, they have to be very soft edged and very close to the value of the lips, of the local color. Same thing here. I'm going to come in with this value here. A couple of these little wrinkles. And then here we have a little stronger cast shadow of the lips, and then it softens up. But over here, looks like this is a little softer. Okay, let us come in with the medium mixture and let's paint like we mean it. Over here, there's a little bit of a light as the corner of her nostril is just catching a little bit of light, and that's going to work because we're just going to extend the nostril down. Remember, the nostril as well as the nose are three-dimensional forms that are being affected by the light as everything else. There we go. All right, so now I think we can pretty much begin coming in with the white. So this is always a fun time. Let's see. So we're all interested in the cake, Wendy. I think it's your black velvet cake. No, red velvet, I'm sorry. Okay, so when I use the white pastel, right? So as you can see, I have my sandpaper. It's like a 50 grit. And I'll deposit some of the white and I'll come in with a stump. And now let's go ahead and so make some magic happen, okay? So let's come over here. Remember, we always start with the eyes. It's all about the eyes. The eyes have it, right? Yes, the red velvet. That's so cool. But you do red earth. I always get that wrong. And now we're just gonna make some magic happen here. Now the white is not just for highlights. You'll see, if you haven't been with me for quite some time, you'll see exactly what I mean in just a few moments. And let's see. I'm just going to tap it, and you see if I tap it, I could lower that value pretty quickly. Over here on this side, And you could change the pressure. So if I just go very light with that pressure, very light is the application of the white, and therefore makes it a lot less powerful, you know. And let's move on over to the other eye. And let's go ahead and take care of that. This is Steve Johnson's favorite part. I wish he was here. And you see, we'll just go ahead and hit that corner of the eye I was trying to do before. There we go. And we can use our kneaded eraser, and we can just shape that. And let's see. Now we're just going to very lightly do the bottom part of the eye there. And just a little flick there, right? And then we can take our kneaded eraser and shape that a little bit better. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is what we do here. We just take our time. There are no points for speed. Actually, if you do it too fast, kind of takes away from it. There we go. And then we can tap the bottom one. And then we have a little bit of action here. One of the many, many advantages of working on paper is the fact that you could use things like white pastel. So let's see if we can go ahead and do that on the other side as well. So let's move over here. On the eyelids, that is. And yes, so we have some light activity here on the eyelids. And we'll just do like a little stippling effect here. A lot of times it's the space in between that is just as important as the actual white. 1 second rule will always put you in the right position. And we'll come back in with the light mixture here and do that, reinstate the crease of the lower eye there. And if you want to be a better painter, it's always best to study the effects of light. And there are some really good books out there about what light does. Even books by Sir Isaac Newton actually talk about the qualities of light, that it goes in straight lines, that it bounces. The angle that it comes in is the same angle as it bounces off. The angle of incidence is the same as the angle of reflection, I believe, is the exact phrase from his book. So definitely, if you want to be a better artist, it's very important to make sure that, remember your main, hey, there you are, Steve. Yeah. So you came for the last end of the white mix, the white pastels. So as I said, it's so important for us to, let's go back here. So important for us to actually learn about what light does. What is the nature of light, right? That is so important. And if you ever get too much, you can always tap that and calm that down. Look for a second and paint for a second. And you just want to get the shape of her nostrils there and the bottom part of her nose. Yes, John, definitely. It's so important to make sure that we understand what we're painting. So so if you're doing portraiture, you have to understand what is the human head, you know, what makes up the human head, the neck, the hands, you know, so that's anatomy, right? And so we have to know everything we can about that to say more profound things about our subject. The more we know about our subject, the more we can expound on that subject, and the more that we could relay the qualities of that subject. So those things are so important. And so with that being said, so we are painting light, we definitely have to understand light as much as we can. You're never done studying light, you're never done studying anatomy, because there's always more to learn. I think it's something like 25 bones that are just into the human foot, and I think there's even more in the actual human hand. So I think it's 21 and 23 as far as the bones. I'm not sure exactly, but it's in that ballpark. But that's amazing. It just goes to show you, you can't say, oh, I got the anatomy down, I'm done. Next subject, same thing with light. What we know about light is so little. So we definitely want to continue studying it and see how we can study and apply that to our own work. So you see, now that I'm coming in with the white, you can definitely see how all that hard work with the light mixture is actually paying off. So now I can actually make it turn, because I have the light and the mid-tone, and then slowly getting darker with the light mixture, and then with the medium mixture, and now with the light, making it turn. And question says, do you ever use fixative to protect your work? No, and I'll tell you why. One of my teachers, actually my mentor, is Harvey Dinnerstein, and he is one of the most famous pastel painters ever. So basically, when I was working in pastel, that was the question, right? I said, Harvey, I was taught with my other teachers to go ahead and use fixative. And he says, do not use fixative. And the reasons were several. First reason is you work so hard to get a texture, to get a surface texture. When you use fixative, you lose all that hard work because now the fixative changes the texture of the surface. That's the first thing. Second thing is you work so hard to get the values correct, and the fixative will change the value of your work. That's the second thing. And the third thing is that if you just go ahead and frame it either directly under glass or with a mat, it will stay as fresh as the day it was painted. So for as long as you can think, you know, I mean, there'll be no archival issues. So with that, I don't ever do that, Steve, just because I listen to my mentor, you know. Not to say that it's not a good thing to do if you don't mind it darkening your work. And so when you buy the work, you want to feel like this is the painting that I did. This is the way it looked when it actually left my studio, right? And so with that, you'll know that it's exactly what I was intending, meaning value and everything like that. Okay, so I'm liking the way Miss Leaper's coming out. Now it's not just for highlights. You can also come in and change the pressure that you put on here, and you can start to get texture, skin texture. Thank you so much, Steve. And the mat is good, but I found, see, I was always told with pastels and drawing we have to have the mat, and the mat is great, right, Steve? But if you don't have a mat, you can just put it right on the glass, like right against it, and I have no problems whatsoever. I have some pieces under glass for almost 18 years. But yeah, I do like the mat. The mat just looks really great, you know, I just love it. I love the way, it's just a way to just dress up the painting a little bit more, present the painting, you know, a little bit nicer. So I like the mat. But it's good to know it's not 100% necessary. Oh, Steve, oh yes, I understand, definitely. Under glass is really, really the best. And the best protection, especially if you're working on paper. Okay. And you see how I always move down the center line of either the body or the head? That's always very important. Yes, Chris says something very interesting and correct. You have to have that tight seal, because I had actually like little flies or like a silverfish or something go in my painting, you know. Anyone who's been doing it a long time has had that happen, and that's pretty gross. Like a, oh, nice painting. And did you mean to have the dead bug? Yeah, that's man's inhumanity to man. So I decided to symbolize that bug with the plight of world hunger. Yeah, people will be like, wow, that's interesting. I love the way he puts the dead bugs in his paintings. And we'll just do some little textures here and there. And we'll get more detailed later. It's funny, who knows, maybe one day they'll read into this, like, what did he mean about what he was talking about, the bug, and what's all that talk about cake? Is that some code, right? That'll be funny. Definitely went a little crazy with the light, so we always have our light mixture. That's an even more effective way to calm these things down. And remember, you want to follow the grain of the skin, the grain of the lips, right? When you're looking at things like little wrinkles or what have you. Even more important than the actual shape would be getting the direction correct. And again, look at that, it's a little strong. See if I can tap that down. And right here, we have a little bit. Okay, so here's a good thing to do. So right now we could work on putting the detail in her manicure. And then right here. And I'm using a Fondant Porter. Over here as well. See how that just brings everything to life a little bit? Yes, the highlight, Steve, that's true. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, Steve Leahy frame class. That would be amazing. Yes, definitely. And let's come over here. We have a little bit of a highlight right here. 1 second rule keeping me honest. And then a little bit of a white here. I like these little bits of detail, kind of brings everything together, So if I create just the lightest of pressure, I mean really just kissing the subject here. Granted, we have a long way to go, but it's nice when things start to come together, such as this. Am I right? It's just a nice feeling. Okay, so we'll come back to our stump here. Interesting question. So Chris asked me, was I always painting in detail like this? Was I taught? No, actually, very good question. I felt guilty for a long time going against my teachers. My teachers were very painterly, much like Rembrandt and Velasquez. Ever since high school, I had some really great teachers who were pretty famous realistic painters, but they were more part of a group called the Social Realists in New York, and They were all mostly Jewish American, and out of Brooklyn, and they were the most talented bunch of guys. And these painters were basically carrying the torch of realism during a time of the 50s, 60s, and 70s when realism was really not in vogue, especially in the art world. But they did it in a way that was very sketchy and not very sketchy, but they suggested a lot. And the reason is because they liked painting in the city, in the subways, at bus stops, and so they would like to do these quick sketches and then go back to their studio and work from those sketches. They might have a model pose for them in that particular to get more detail from the sketches. So they weren't photorealists by any means. They were actually going against photorealism and going against abstract painting. So when I was starting art school, like in 1980, in the mid to late 1980s, they taught me, and they taught me a more suggestive. Now, suggestive, but true to life, not just, but getting the gesture and everything that's so important. So I painted like that, and I became a full merit scholarship student, and I'd like to think I was one of the better students of my time. And so when I left, when I graduated, I didn't know what direction I wanted. I realized that I was not Harvey Dinnerstein, or I was not a Max Ginsberg. I was Timothy John Luke Smith. And at that point, I was just starting to find myself. So I got into all different things. I did colored pencils for a while. I also did colored pencils. I did a lot of pencil work. I didn't have the model, so I didn't have the ability to pose. I had a lot of friends and people who would pose. I asked like a young lady in Florida who was a hairdresser, and then one woman I worked with, so they would pose. But my own style kind of surfaced, much like in the way that someone's handwriting kind of surfaces. And so when I started painting, I was going further and further away from my mentor. And I felt mega, mega guilty. I'll tell you, super guilty. And you just get to the point where you realize that you're painting for yourself. And, you thank your teachers so much. But now, I say that to say this. I had 8 years of art school, so I'm not saying that, you could be studying with someone for like 6 months and you're like, I'm going in my own direction. No, you have to study you have to get the vocabulary before you become your own writer. So that's so important. So you asked for it, Chris. That was a very long answer to a short question. But yeah, I'm still evolving, still going in my own direction. So I really help. When's the last time I did a pastel? I'm actually working on one now, so I never really stop, Steve. Pastel's always my first love, but publicly, I'm really just only showing this stuff. It's just, we're in control of what people know us for. So right now, I just want to be known for my airbrush. And I was known for my pastels not too long ago. Maybe as short as like 6-7 years ago. That's all I was known for. But it's just something that, you grow and you go in your own direction. And so I'm going to show some of my pastels. I'm actually going to do that pretty soon, and we'll go over that, Steve. So that's great, and thank you for your interest. I really appreciate that. Okay, so as you can see, I am a signature member of the Pastel Society of America, one countless awards for my pastels, both nationally and internationally. And, I think pastels is always going to be my love, if not, the thing I love doing the most. But right now, it's just, I definitely want to go in this direction for a while. And one day I might wake up and say, you know what? I don't want to do airbrush anymore as a full time. But that's just the way I am, I just like to master things and then go from there and see where it takes me. Oh, we have her pinky. Let's not forget her pinky. So the pinky is very important. So let's go there. Okay, there's a cute pinky. So let's make this happen. And we have some nice lights here. Understated lights in her hand. I do bake cake already. I do love it. I just don't love the calories. But I make some really good banana bread, pumpkin bread. I make yellow cake. I do enjoy baking a lot. And I do enjoy eating it too much. That's my problem. I love to eat the cake. And okay, so here we go. We have some nice reflected lights going on here in the neck. Kind of get that glow. Yeah, Wendy, it is a lot of fun. I live alone, so I have no one to bake for, and that's kind of sad, but that happens. One day I'll have someone to bake for. There we go. And so I'm really liking the way. So let's give the fingers some. Let's give her fingers some dimension, right? They're a little flat, so let's give those cute little fingers some dimension. And this is where you really just have to pay attention. And believe me, the whole world could be in those fingers. Steve says he's hungry now. That's funny. Yeah, all that talk of bread and cake. But pumpkin bread is amazing. My favorite time of the year is autumn, but not early autumn, mid-autumn, like November. Oh, late October and November. I love that. That one of the things that put a smile on my face. The mosquitoes are gone. The ants are gone. Sweaty days and nights are gone. I just love it. And Brad wants some cake. Steve says Tim also does some terrific color work. You should share that also. Thank you so much. Yeah, just a lot of water under the bridge as far as my color work is concerned. Just something that I'm not willing to share. I just said to myself, like Pablo Picasso had his blue period. Raise your hand out there if you know about Pablo Picasso's blue period and why he just painted in blue for a while. So if you don't, just say you don't, but it's very interesting as why he did that. And kind of similar, I didn't do that on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. Hey there, Mr. Bill, how are you today? I'm so glad you're painting again. That makes me very, very, very pleased to hear and to see. So, oh no, or his ear period. Actually, his ear period, I'm not sure. I don't know if he did have an ear period. That was Van Gogh, perhaps. But I would look up. I'll look that up. Perhaps there is an ear period. So anyway, so so Picasso left Spain to go hang out with his left Spain to be artist with a friend of his, and they were very close. And he was a good artist too. And I'm not going to go into the reason why he did, but his friend committed suicide right in front of him, and he was a young man. And through the grieving process, he actually just painted in blue for a while. And so that's why his blue period. Now for me, I decided to go into a period of black and white for my own reasons, which I won't disclose. But when whatever occurs or doesn't occur or what have you, when I feel it's over, I'm going to go back into color full force. I'm still going to teach black and white because black and white is the only way to teach a new artist or someone who is beginning to learn airbrush, you know. Hey, nameless subscriber, good to see you. How are you? Van Gogh did cut off part of his ear. The whole idea whether it was a prostitute thing is really speculation at this point. There are some saying he had a very heated argument with Paul Gauguin, and that was the catalyst for it. Some stories that he was in love with a prostitute, but I think the more of just he was just going through a lot of stuff, and he did that, you know. So basically that's that. So there is a reason that I stopped painting in color for a while, and whenever that does end, only I will know when it ends. And it won't be because of anything that happens or anything. I'll just know that it's over. Just like when I was painting my Mayan subjects, I just knew that it was over. And I just pretty much stopped painting Mayan pieces. It was Pelosi. Oh my goodness. You're too funny. You guys are hilarious. But, you know, artists, you know, they definitely have their periods, you know. And not to be mistaken with menstrual periods, only the females have that. But different artistic periods. Oh boy. I get in trouble just being honest. It's because your cat ate your pastels. Wow, that would be one colorful cat. Well, the poop would be colorful, you know. Very true, Wendy. You want to give, you definitely as an artist, if you feel you're going to become famous, you know, as far as in the history of art, you definitely want to give art historians something to talk about. So you know, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, don't talk about that. How could you be like, no, I feel that I want to be an important artist in art history. That's always been my main goal, is to be an important artist in art history. And that will always be my main goal. You know, paint, you know, it's, when you have that goal of being an important artist in your time period, then you're not thinking of individual paintings, but you're thinking of your body of work. And I always think of the body of the work, you know. So when I just decided I didn't want to do the Mayan paintings anymore, I was thinking of my body of work. I wasn't thinking of, you know, oh, am I making money from these paintings? And if I am, why would I stop? No, I'm thinking of my body of work and what, you know, I want my work to have when you're looking at it, not just a flat, this is what I do. I want to have periods in my life where I did certain things, you know, for whatever reason, whether psychologically or intentionally or subconsciously, you know, I want to have that sort of storyline. So that's really important to me, and it always has been. So I always think of my work as how it will fit in the body of my work. I'm not ashamed to say that, or, you know, I don't have like false modesty. That's my goal, and that's what I work towards. That's why I work so hard. Not for financial. Of course, I don't want to be in a poorhouse, but my main goal is definitely that. Well, I do know I'm going to be famous. So I think those, Wendy, who know they're going to be famous, whether it's in their own lifetime or posthumously, I think they know. I think they have that feeling, and so that's important to me. Mr. Johnson says timing is everything. Yes, for minor talents, for people who are not, how do I say, for those who aren't really in it for the long haul. I mean, I've painted for years, and everyone told me, give it up. You know, what are you doing? Make the money. Uh, so yes, if you want that short, quick kind of fame that, you know, then do what the masses want. But if you want to be known for something, whether it's when you're alive or when you're gone, then I think you're in it for the long haul. It's going to be a marathon. It's not going to be, it definitely is not going to be something that you're going to achieve right away. Remember, the muses show up when we're working at the easel. So, you know, whatever it is, Jackson Pollock, when he started doing those, I'm an amateur historian, art historian. So for me, I know that if I'm going to make a difference with my art, I have to work when seemingly no one's watching. I have to have seriousness when no one's buying my work. So it's not dependent on the taste of the masses. Actually, the taste of the masses most of the time is something that you should avoid. No, I don't. I can't see the echo being back unless the volume. Oh, okay. There you go. So for some reason, I hit the volume. But like I said, you know, I'm a very modest person, but I won't be modest in a sense if I don't feel that, you know. But that's always been my goal since I was a little boy, and it hasn't changed. So whether or not that does happen, um, that's not up to me. But what's up to me is to continue working towards that goal. And that's just, you know, what fuels me. And of course, people could be like, you know, you know, whatever reason. I know I have my detractors. It's all good. If you don't have your detractors, you're not doing something. You're doing something wrong. And let's go on over to the other hand here. I'm just going to indicate. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate your efforts as well, sir. But I'm in it for the brass ring, whether I achieve it in my lifetime or not. But you have to believe that you are, otherwise, you definitely won't. And we can come in with the white pastel here. And we'll pull out. There we go. And you see we have an indication of those rings. We'll come back to it. Remember, Rome's never built in a day. So Steve says, Tim, you're certainly making your name heard. Thank you, sir. And I love your work as well. And, you know, it's always a pleasure to see your work and everyone's work here. I really appreciate it. And I do love, I love doing this. I was doing live stream when nobody was watching. I mean, you know, this is like a passion of mine. So, you know, whether I have, you know, you wonderful people watching, or 37,000 people watching, or 5 people watching, I'm still going to be here. And so it's like a commitment I have, you know. Now that you men and women who are here, and I really love you guys, I'm committed to showing up for you guys, but I would show up anyway, you know. As long as I have breath to breathe, I'm going to do it. And thank you so much, Mr. John. I appreciate you as well. But teaching is I never wanted to be a teacher, you know. I'm really just happy painting, but I did find along the way that teaching was a great way that I could share my passion with you all. And then when you know, here I teach for those who, you know, can't take my classes, and I appreciate you, and, you know, I want to share my passion so much that I'm finding different ways. And those who can take my workshops and everything, I'm so happy that I get to meet you all and share the passion. And then when I see you all go ahead and do amazing work on your own, that just blows my mind. But teaching was never why I went into this. It's just, you know, I had this weird compulsion to paint and draw no matter what was going on in my life. And even like when life was hard, and life was hard a lot, you know, my art has always been that one thing that kind of got me out of it. Oh, Brad, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. So Brad gave a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. You know, that means a lot to me. And, you know, you guys being here is the main thing, and then super chats is like the icing on the icing. So I appreciate everybody here. And I appreciate you, Brad. Thank you, sir. And so we're doing pretty good here. And let's see, just come over here. So we've got to make this finger right here, her ring finger. We've got to give that some luminosity, you know, bouncing off some of that really nice the light off of her skin there on her finger. Her finger is being affected just as much as her eye. So we have to make sure that we pay attention to the little nuances and how that finger is, even the pinky is getting a lot of information. Oh, so Steve says passion, it's a very strong emotion, and sure everyone here can relate. It's the fire with the fuels. Exactly. Passion is a wonderful, powerful thing. And my philosophy when I'm teaching, my goal is not so much to teach art. Yes, that's technique is, but to bring out your passion, not my passion, but to bring out your passion, to make you a better conduit to actually dig deep and grab that passion and harness it and then create amazing things from it. That's my goal as a teacher. And one of the things that saddens me so much is when a student, or not a student, but somebody who is, airbrushing and they want to sell their airbrushes, and I talk them down and I say, hey, don't do that. You bought them for a reason. If anything, just leave them there and then think about it, but don't go ahead and get rid of them. You bought them for a reason, and I know it's frustrating, but don't make decisions when you're frustrated. And then I try and tell them, you can do this. It's airbrush is really just technique. The art is, that's what you use that tool to really fuel, your vision of the world. So as you can see, we are bringing everything together here, and then we're going to move on over to her forehead, because you remember that the forehead is not a flat plate. There's a lot going on, right? So let's go ahead and see if we could do that. So Wendy says she wished she had more file. What is file? So you see there are little variations in tone here in her forehead. Without doing that, her forehead would be flat. Oh, more fire. Well, motivation is something, it's funny because a lot of people say, you can never motivate somebody, and that's true. I think no one can motivate you. You have to have that motivation. And I guess it's a lot of soul searching on why you want to do it and what you want to create and how much time do we have to do it. And when we realize we don't have the time, we're here for, a certain amount of time on this earth, then that kind of gives me motivation. And I says, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. I can't accomplish this if I start 10 years from now. I have to accomplish it now. So that's, and that's just a way of finding your motivation. I can't bring you out. I can't motivate someone. You can't motivate me. No one can motivate each other. We can inspire each other. We can bring out, those dreams that, we had, whether it's for art or love or anything. It's someone can bring out that sort of passion for you and reveal it to you again. That people say, oh, my passion is dead. No, it's not dead. It's just dormant because we're not feeding it, but it doesn't die. I don't feel the fire for your butt. What? You mean the fire in your belly, perhaps? Yes, that's true. Definitely ride the wave and pray a lot, whether it's, whoever you are praying to, and, really, look for answers, One of my favorite movies, Vision Quest, with Matthew Modine and Linda Fiorentino. I love that movie. And one of the things is, it's not important. The answers are not as important as the questions, and you have to find the questions. And if you can find those questions that, you want to spend your life answering, I think that's where we should be looking, because, those questions are so important. Yeah, so basically, there's other ways that you can keep the fire going, and reading books, watching documentaries like the one on Gustav Klimt I shared with you earlier. Those are very important things. It's up to it's up to us to give us that stimuli, right? What is it that's going to keep you in the game and get rid of the negative stimuli that we find ourselves mired in, right? That's so important. And we're really not going to find it on the outside. We're going to find it on the inside, our motivation. And I I know that's not exactly the answer that we all want to hear. I don't want to hear that answer. But yeah, that another movie, I always think of The Matrix, right? The part where Trinity is running from the agents in the beginning, and she falls down the stairs, and she's just sitting there looking at the window waiting for the agent to come and get her, and then she says to herself, Trinity, get up. To me, that's such an important part, because I find myself doing that often, saying, Tim, get up, you know whatever, stop this, not going forward, right? And Dan says he pushes himself all the time. We do have to push ourselves. And but I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that it's just what we have to do, really. And they always say the teacher appears when the student is ready. So we have to make ourselves ready for this. And Wendy says she's dyslexic and she sucks at reading. Too better watching stuff visually. YouTube and Skillshare is wonderful, Wendy, and also great documentaries on your favorite artists is really great. And thank you, Dan. I'm glad you're pushing yourself. The nameless subscriber says, the highlights do breathe breath into a painting. Are you going to put any highlights on her leather sleeve? Of course, definitely. I did this first because I wanted the payoff, right? And so that's what we're doing now. And believe me, we're not done with the face. We're just, like you say, we're bringing some life into her. And also notice that, we do have these values, but there's life in those values. It's not like, oh, there's a gray. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up that area with some gray. It's just one gray. Light is bouncing all over the place, right? And the skin and the muscles and the bones are at different angles, and light is bouncing from reflecting off of other things. And so you have to make sure that you're putting life into your shadows, right? And that's so important. Yeah, the thing is, it's we can only go by our experiences. And for me, you know, the most important time to go forward is when nothing's happening. Anyone can go forward when things are great and, there's a lot of success and everyone's loving your work and you're getting all these kudos. But when nothing's happening and people are laughing and saying, wow, are you going to give up yet? When are you going to give up? Why don't you just stop this thing? And that's when I'm not just talking about art, I'm talking about anything, looking for, that special person in your life, or, you're working at a job, trying to find that career that really gets you going. You really have to just keep on searching. There's so many different things we can look into to help us. Whether you're a Christian or a Buddhist or, If you're a Muslim, you know, it applies to everybody, you know, and I think that's important. So Dan says been airbrushing for almost 2 years, and he's been fishing. He's been doing fishing lures because that is great. I would love to see some. Email me paintinglyphs@gmail.com, Dan. I would really love to see some of your fishing lures. Fishing lures are amazing, aren't they? And so tell me, do you love fishing and that's why you did it? You wanted to. What was your motivation for going down that road? Yes. And that will push you more when people say you should stop. Yeah, that's always been me. When people screw with me, that was kind of the worst thing that they could do because, you know, I was like, really? I still keep every rejection letter I ever gotten from a gallery. I keep them because for me that's fuel. That's fuel for me, that's for sure. And Hillbilly says, can't buy motivation, just start doing, and through pride we find a desire to finish. I love that. You know, Beethoven said, and I want to get this correct, so I'm just going to very quickly type in Beethoven. I love Beethoven. So, let's see if I can find that quote. Oh, here it is. I love this. So this is by Beethoven, and I'm going to put it in comments. And I care about you all, so that's why I share this. Not for some magical thing, but just know that the road is out there, that you have to find it yourself, as I have to find it myself. So Beethoven said, don't only practice your art, but force your way into its secret. Into Don't only practice your art, but force your way into its secrets. Art deserves that, for it and knowledge can raise man to the divine. And you know what? If we should listen to anyone, we should listen to Beethoven about, you know, practicing our art, right? And so what I'm going to do is I am going to go to text and I'm going to put that on there. Add source and we'll go to text. Ooh, that's big. And I want you guys to see that in girls. Control V. There we are. Okay, so now here it is all big and we just have to make it small. Let's see if I can do this. Don't try this at home. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Almost, guys. I'm going to put this a little bit higher. I'll put it right here. And what I'll do is I will make this scroll. So this will be a reminder for the rest of this live stream. So I have to, okay, here we are, scroll. And so I go that extra mile because maybe this will inspire someone. Maybe it'll just inspire me, you know? So that's it, you know? So a little bit of Beethoven, never hurt anybody. Oh, yes. Yes, but he was doing symphonies at age 5. Doesn't matter, you know, whether you start at 5, 50, 85. It's the actual action that's important. And remember, he says practice your art. He didn't say practice your art for years. Just practice your art, and it will reveal its secrets. And so, I think that's great. You know, we are all going to heaven. Yes, that, and we'll hang out there. I wonder if there's live streams up there, right? I don't know, you know, but you know, it's why I like these live streams because they're, you know, they're organic, you know. It's not just, you know, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this and only that, you know. I think it's important to just go with the flow. And, you know, it's like I never want to pander to anybody and say, you know, I'm gonna do what's gonna get subscribers and what. I don't care about subscribers. I don't care about any of that. I just care about being authentic and caring, and being myself. And I want you all to be yourself. That's all I care about. You know, so you're never going to see me do the trends unless I feel that trend is something that I want to do, you know? Oh, great. The live streams help in so many ways. That makes me happy. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'm glad you like that, Hillbilly. And so, you know, fact checker. Yes. No medication, not medication, sitting quietly and looking within yourself. Cool. Thanks, John, for that. And yeah, that's wonderful that you are finishing. You know, that's amazing. And Hillbilly says, can't buy motivation. I agree. Dan says he fishes at work. A fish guy asked him to work to do them, so he tried it and had fun there on Facebook. And oh, I would love that. Yeah. So that's great. You know, it's you never know. You never know. You know what you're gonna end up doing when you are, you know, just going in there and just being open to it. So let's do some teeth. I like her teeth. Okay, so we can use pencil. Oh my God, Tim's using pencil and airbrush painting. Anything goes, guys. Whatever works. Whatever, you know, the ends justify the means. Now the trick is I have to find my pencil. I know it was black and it has lead. So let's see. So no pencil there. There it is. Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, great. I'd love to see some of the photos. Looking forward to that. And let's see. I love your work, Wendy. So I really want to see more. Beautiful. There we go. Just going to indicate. Just like so. And we'll come in. There we go. Over here. And the great thing about paint or ink, you can always erase. But teeth are always hard. Well, you know, you do have to, you know, we are artists and we do want to make money at what we do. So as far as what sells, we do have to meet halfway to, you know, the buying public, of course. That's important. And so, see, I'm putting these in, but I have to calm them down, right? They seem very strong, but we'll see how they look from far away first. And then if we have to calm down her beautiful teeth, we will. Let's see. So if we zoom out, let's see how that looks. It looks pretty good, but a little strong. Looks like she has braces on or something. So remember, there's a lot of ways to darken it. You can come in and dust that with your airbrush, or you can just tap. Just like so. Just calm that down. And then we could come in with our white pastel, and we can give some nice volume to her teeth, you know. Same thing with her lips. Kind of creating a little luminosity in those lips. Little lights in the shadow there. Same thing over here, some lights in the shadow. And let's see if we can just ever so lightly okay, so not bad, not bad. And we'll just zoom out a little bit. Oh, so Wendy and Todd have trouble doing stuff for people. And so Steve says he has to agree, love the live streams, usually part 6 or 7. So you like when they come together, huh? That's, I hear that, you know, definitely. It's great when they do come together. So I love it too. I love all the live streams because, you know, I get to hang out with everybody and we get to talk about art and hang out, and to me that's the biggest payoff, right? And so let's see if we can go ahead, and so I'm kind of liking it, you know. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I am liking the feel of her right now. Very cute, very elegant. And let's go back to our medium mixture, dun dun dun, and we'll just sort of come down. And let's make her ear just a little less pointy, right? There we go. A lot less pointy. Sometimes you do change things, and it's important to do that for pictorial reasons. Remember, you're the artist. This is your painting. You are the boss. Unless it's a commission, then they're the boss. But ultimately, you're the boss. So I want to show you guys and girls something I've been working on. And just to put in perspective, you see where we are here. This is part 5, so this is actually 10 hours of work, right, to get to this level. And I'm going to show you very quickly. This is, I'm just going into medium mixture, and this is after 7 hours of work. So you can see how long you have to be in the light mixture, you know. Thank you, Brad, I appreciate that. How long you have to be in the light mixture to get to, so this is like 6 to 7 hours. This is 10 hours. So you see 6 to 7 hours you get here, and then in 3 hours you get here. But those 3 hours will not happen unless you spend those 7 hours in the light mixture. You have to, I implore you. If one thing I could teach you all is to stay light. Light is always right. Too dark, too early, too bad, too sad. You'll have nowhere to go. So trust me, trust me, trust me. I definitely won't steer you wrong. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I just want you to know that, you know, the payoff is in, you know, hours 9 and 10, 11 and 12. Yes, those are the payoff. But you can't get the glory until you had the pain, and the pain is 6 or 7 hours of working hard, busting your butt, paying attention to the light mixture. So it's not just me showing you, hey, look how I do this. No, I want to teach you things that you can apply to your work, whether you're 1 year in or 20 years in. If you go ahead and come in too dark, let's say you just want to go ahead and establish the dark real early, then what? Okay, you establish the dark. However, you have nowhere to go. You cannot build up texture slowly. You cannot find the nuances of shape. So Definitely, definitely, definitely. You go here for 6 to 7 hours, then you can get to here. But don't try to get here before those 6 or 7 hours in the light mixture. Trust me, I'm not trying to steer anybody wrong. I want you to have success. I want you to have fun. So here's one I'm working on with John Payne. We're working on this painting, right, with John Payne. This is probably hour 10, right around hour 10 on working with this painting. So, it's so crucial to know that, you can't get to the glory unless you pass the pain, which is using that light mixture for a long time. That's why I love sharing the light mixture and the importance of it, and then the medium and dark mixture and how they all come together. So Dan says that he has to get to bed. Have a good night. Take care, Dan. Looking forward to your pictures. So cool. So it's 11:17, so this live stream went pretty quickly. So who's still here? How many people dropped off? Let's see. So I'm excited. I'm going to be giving away a fine art print. Probably, maybe I'll make one for next week, so you all can enter it, which will be really wild. Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and see if we could. Hey, Ruth, how you doing? I'm so glad you made it. So very cool. So, Ruth, what is the name of your YouTube channel? And so you can let everybody know. So, Ruth has a YouTube channel. She does colored pencils and all different kinds of mediums, right? I seen charcoal and pencil. And then we have Mr. Steve Leahy. He has a live stream every Monday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, which is fantastic. And oh, do I have your piece so we can see? Now, are you talking about the commission, or are you talking about the work that you won? Oh, yes, I definitely do. So here's what you won, sir, which is really cool. And I'm excited, Oh, so Raul is painting and listening. That's perfect. So Ruth Ballard Art, which is really great. So that's exciting. And then the commission, not just yet. Nothing to show until it gets to that certain point. And but it's getting there. And then also we have who else? Oh, Bill. Bill Snagan. He has a live stream. And when is your live stream, Mr. Bill? If you're there? Because I know it's at different times, but have you picked one time where you're pretty much going to be there? Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. And we're going to work on this leather jacket. So let's make this happen. There we go. Oh, well, Ruth, I don't think Ruth does live streams yet, but she's planning on it. But it's Ruth Ballard Art, and you can see that when you go to YouTube, which is exciting. And Steve, are you still on? What will you be working on next as far as your live streams go? And let's check this out. And you know, with this, you don't have to be exact, right? You definitely don't have to be exact. But you want to get the direction. And now we can come in with the white pastel. Let's see. I think I just had a text. Let me see who it is. It's important. Let's see. Okay. My mom had a procedure today, so I'm always looking to see if I hear from my sister. But she's doing okay, so that's good. So Colette, her mom is not doing too well. So if you guys can send prayers and good thoughts for Colette, that would be great. So she's having a tough time. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Steve is busy with the sippy cup. That's what Chris said. Yes, prayers for Colette's mom. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Ruth and Wendy and everybody. I appreciate that. As you can see, I can start making this looking like leather with not much. We'll make it look like leather. So again, all that light mixture, all that mumbo jumbo I was doing actually does pay off. Just, really just pay attention to what's happening. With that 1 second rule. You're going to do much better with the 1 second rule than not, Thank you, Wendy, praying for my mom. So Brad says, am I going to show off a bit of pastel work? Let's see. I do have, let's see if I can show some pastel paintings here. If I can. If I would, I guess I would add a source, and I would do a media image here, and let's see if I have some pastels I can show you. Let's see. I should have a lot more readily to show. I will in a sec. I think I have some in here. I do love pastels, mind you. I mean, it really is close to my heart. And I have some early pieces and later pieces as well. Here's an interesting pastel painting that I did. This is Mayan Symphony in red and green. This was a painting I did. It's a pastel. I believe I did this painting like around circa 2007, more or less, around there. I did that. Thank you, Ruth, and I appreciate that. So let's see what else we have to show you. We'll add another sauce. We'll go down here, see what we have. So here is a painting I did. This is entitled Rachel, and it's Rachel from the Bible. And she was a shepherdess, and she was so beautiful that Jacob waited 7 years. He worked 7 years to marry her. And so that's why you can see I have the little sheep there because she was tending the sheep. When he seen her, he fell in love with her, love at first sight. And so that basically is that. As you can see, when I do work in pastel, I like to be a storyteller in pastel. Let's see what else we have. Scroll down. So this one is rather interesting. This one right here. So this painting, as you can see, it's basically a lot of beiges and black and red. I was walking one day and I had seen this rock. And when I seen the rock, I was like, wow, I just love that color combination. So that color combination sort of made me use this palette. And so this, of course, this is all pastel on wood panel. And let's see what else we have. This is interesting. This is a reproduction of Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is considered, she is considered the Mona Lisa of the North. And this is done by, the original of course is done by Johannes Vermeer, and I did a reproduction in, thank you everybody, I did a reproduction in pastel. The way the pearl earring is and the light and the color. So I did this demonstration and it sold immediately before someone had seen it, and immediately they went ahead and purchased it. So it never left my easel. It went from my easel to the framer to selling. That was, it was just so informative to study Johannes Vermeer's work. Of course, he's a Dutch painter. 17th century Dutch painter, famous for using the camera obscura. And let's see what else, if I have any more to readily show you all. So this is a rather interesting painting I did years ago. We're talking many years ago. I was interested in the work of Caravaggio. I still am, but this is a painting that I did, and it's the biblical story of Judith. And it's kind of interesting because Judith cut the head off of, I believe it was an enemy king, a Philistine king or something like that. So that was the reason for it, So very interesting stuff. So like you said, I've been painting many years, and as you can see, I don't have a shortage of pastel paintings to show, and this is just scratching the surface. So we are coming to 11:29, so I hope you enjoyed the show and tell of some of my pastel paintings of the past. And we're not doing too bad when it comes to Dua Lipa. I think we're getting pretty far. So next week we're going to be working on the leather, and then we are going to be working on the hair, and that's it. So we don't have much more to do. So I always give you guys 2 hours when I can. I love yous. I really think you're all fantastic, and you all have so much to give the world with your art. And so, if I can maybe kind of give a spark to relight that, ignite that fire, fan the flames, that's what I want to do. So, Chris, congratulations to winning. I really am excited about that. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. And go to paintingcliffs.com. There you will see some really cool stuff, such as the airbrush I use, the inks, and information on the mentorship program, which really comes out to $25 a week. So definitely think about that. Email me, paintingglyphs@gmail.com if you have any questions. Take care, everybody.